You know, when it comes to BronyCon this year, I'm pretty sure one of the major questions that gets asked amongst the fans that are there, and the question that they ask some of the analysis community like Lightning Bliss and Silver Quill and Dos Walsonator, Despio, and many others, as well as even members of the voice acting staff and the guest voice actors and actresses and the creative staff, whether it's the show or the comic. I'm sure the biggest question they get asked or discussed, or one of the topics that they discussed and even ask, I should say, is about shipping. It's about romance. In case you guys haven't been following, last season and this season, two very popular secondary major characters in Big Mac and Maud Pie were both given opposites. They were both given better halves. Big Mac was given a love interest in Sugar Belle, a character that we got introduced to at the end of the season 5 premiere, and got reintroduced to in the season 6 finale and in season 7. Maud Pie got paired with a new character based off Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory called Maud Breyer. But why were these characters paired up in these romances, when pretty much romance has been teased and hinted at and acknowledged from time to time, but never capitalized on? And as I said in one video I did during lunch at my work, I think the reason this happened is because Hasbro, or mostly the creative staff, was testing the waters. You see, rumors going around that season 9 potentially could be the last season. And anybody knows that when you approach a final season, or even a final issue of something, that you are pretty much allowed to be a little bit more lenient than you were before. So in my opinion, the creative staff probably knows that the last season, whether it's season 9, maybe it's season 10 if they decide to do a decade's worth, whenever it may be, they know that last season's fast approaching. So what better way to become a little bit more lenient, allow more creativity to come out, than to finally test the waters when it comes to romance. And that's why they put Maud Pie and Big Mac in the situations they did, because they were testing the waters to see how receptive the audience would be. And obviously the fan base has become very positively receptive to romance in the show. Heck, when we freaking get introduced to Applejack's parents in the flashback, The Perfect Pair, that was pretty much Romeo and Juliet ponified. Without the tragic ending, except that happens off screen, but you get the idea. The point is, they're testing the waters to see if fans will be receptive to romance. And obviously they are. Heck, they've been receptive to freaking romance since the end of season 2 with the Canterlot wedding. So the question is, if they're so positively receptive to now even the secondary characters like Maud and Big Mac getting love interest in their lives, boyfriend and girlfriend, what does this mean? What does this mean in the long run? Well, in my opinion, like I said in one video, I believe that them putting them together is not just a testing of the water to see how fans would be receptive of it, but it's also to see if maybe it could work with the main cast. And apparently, it looks like it could. If fans are receiving these two romances in the positive light that they are, then there's no doubt that they're more than ready to receive romance involving the main characters. But the question is, how would the creative staff go about it? How would they put certain members of the main 7, as I call them, with other characters? Well, in the eyes of a lot of fans, certain romantic ships are already set in stone. Spike and Rarity, which I do support. Rainbow Dash Soarin', which a lot of fans support. Sunburst and Starlight, fans support. These are the kind of ships that they feel are set in stone. And you know what? I don't blame them. If the creative staff wants to start testing the waters with the main cast in the next season or so, when it comes to romance, these three are the perfect pairs to do it with. No doubt. There's no doubt about that. They are the perfect pairs. And then you take a look at the other characters like Twilight, Applejack, and Pinkie, and you would say, well, what about them? Well, fans have pretty much said Pinkie Pie is set to be with Chief Sandwich if they bring him back. Applejack and Twilight are pretty much content in what they're doing, even though they've teased, thanks to Equestria Girls, Twilight and Flash Sentry, although that hasn't really gone anywhere just yet, unless they decide to do something with it friendship mission-wise next season. Applejack seems to be the kind that could go with a character like, let's say, Tenderhoof, who was introduced in the episode Simple Ways, but then again, she's the kind of character that doesn't really need romance because the love she has is her farm. The love life she has is taking care of her family's business, or something like that. But then you have Fluttershy. Well, pretty much a lot of fans have said it right off the bat, and it was acknowledged and teased even in this season by Spike, that Fluttershy and Discord are a freaking item. Fluttercord, as you call it, are an item. And that's about it. But again, the question would be, since Mod Pie and Big Mac's relationships have been positively received, and this allows, in my opinion, the creative staff to take that next step, and the three obvious choices to make into couples, since you pretty much teased two of them since the beginning of the show, and teased another for the past 2 seasons or so, even the end of season 5 and into season 6 and into season 7 and all that. You know, those three being the most obvious, would they being the most obvious choices to give happily ever afters to, would they do it? Well, if there's one thing about this creative staff that they like to do, is they like to surprise people. They like to surprise their fans when they can. And a lot of people have said that, yeah. And a lot of people, well, they have not said, but they would point out that, yeah, Spike, Rarity, Soarin', Rainbow Dash, Starlight, and Sunbuzz would be obvious choices as pairings to make official romantically if they decide to do something like that. But would they? You see, now a lot of things are being thrown into the equation. Fans have started to support pairings like Spike and Starlight, Sunburst and Twilight, Rainbow Dash and Flash Magnus. So you got these other ships for these characters to be a part of. Rarity is being put into a category to where she could find romance, but she's kind of better off tending and taking care of her 3 different boutiques that she has around Equestria. And that basically is her romance, her love, just like Applejack's romance and love is taking care of her family's business. You know, so basically what I'm getting at is the creative staff at times likes to surprise us. So the question would be, would they surprise us romantically with shippings that are supported but are not really officialized, but just supported and acknowledged by the fans, just because of certain moments. Heck, fans want to see Applejack and Spike be together because of what they have, because of the moments and stuff they've seen there. Heck, even the creative staff teased it at San Diego Comic-Con when someone asked them a question about secrets, you know, that the characters had. So the possibility of romance being integrated into the main cast is possible, probably stronger than it's ever been, thanks to Mod Pie being with Mudbriar and Big Mac being with Sugarbelle. But now the question remains, how will it happen? How will it be integrated into the show, probably within the last season? The questions basically are, would they go with the obvious choices, or would they want to surprise us? A lot of people might even say, well, you know what, you got this new character coming up, part of this race called the Kareen, that's half dragon, half pony, called Autumn Blaze or something like that. And people are pretty sure already thinking, oh man, she'd be perfect for Spike. She'd be perfect. She's basically the best of both worlds. You know? So you already have fans thinking about that. You already have fans probably thinking about that, but the question is, would they do it? And right now we don't know. The obvious choice in my opinion is that they finally decide, thanks to the positive reception that Big Mac and Sugar Bell and Mudbriar and Mod Pie have gotten, that not if and not should, but when, within the possible last season, whenever that may be, they decide to finally integrate romance into the main characters, main cast. I do agree that they should go with the obvious choices they've been teasing for the past several seasons, if not since the beginning. Those are the obvious choices that you need to tie up with a happily ever after bow. But I would not put it past them to decide to spice things up, switch things up, and go in a different direction. But the question is, if it's not Spike Rarity, Rainbow Dash Soren, or Starlight Sunburst, who would they romantically connect together when it comes to the main cast? Would they go Starlight Spike? Would they go Rainbow Dash Flash Magnus, Sunburst Twilight? Or would they even go Spike Artem Blaze, that Korean character? How would they go about it? That is the big question. Would they even do Spike and Applejack? Who knows? But to me, and I said this before and I'll say it again, Mod Pie and Mudbriar, Big Mac Sugar Bell, they were the test. They were the testing ground to see if fans would accept it. That testing ground has passed, and now the next step awaits us. But the thing is, will the creative staff behind the animated show take that step? Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. I'll talk to y'all later.